Picture this. You walk into a room and instantly feel the energy shift. You don't know why, but someone's mood is off. They didn't say anything, they didn't move, yet something in their eyes, or the way they're holding themselves, tells you everything. What if you could understand people like this, every time? Not through mind reading, not through guessing, but by unlocking one of the oldest and most reliable psychological tools we have: emotional decoding. Because emotions are always speaking, even when a person has mastered the art of silence. And your brain is already wired to listen. You just might not have noticed it yet. Welcome to MindShift. Today, we're uncovering the hidden science of reading emotions, what the eyes, face, body, and voice are saying long before the words arrive. Let's start with this. You are already an emotional detective. You learned how to read emotions before you even learned how to speak. Newborns recognize tone of voice before meaning. By the time you're 2, you can tell when someone's angry by their eyebrows alone. And yet, most adults are so focused on words, they forget that 93% of emotional communication is nonverbal. That breakdown? About 7% of emotional meaning is in the words, 38% is in tone of voice, and a massive 55% is expressed through facial expressions and body language. So let's dive in. A face is a canvas of micro-expressions. These are tiny, involuntary facial movements that last less than half a second. You can't control them, and because of that, they reveal what you're really feeling, even if you're trying to hide it. The famous psychologist Paul Ekman, who spent decades studying facial expressions across different cultures, discovered that no matter where you're from, Japan, Nigeria, Peru, or Iceland, we all express the same 7 basic emotions: joy, sadness, fear, anger, disgust, surprise, and contempt. Here's the fun part. Those expressions are so universal that even blind people who've never seen a face in their life will smile when they're happy and frown when they're sad. Your face is a billboard your brain can't stop updating. Let's try something. Imagine you ask a friend how they're doing and they say, "I'm fine." But their half smile doesn't reach their eyes. Their upper eyelids are slightly raised, almost like they're bracing, and their shoulders are a bit higher than usual. You just decoded anxiety, not with words, but with instinct. In psychology, this type of observation is called thin slicing, forming judgments based on small bits of meaningful data. And believe it or not, research shows we make fairly accurate first impressions in just a tenth of a second. But here's where it gets wild. In the 1970s, researchers gave participants a 15-second silent video of a teacher lecturing, and asked them to rate how competent and likable they were. These ratings were nearly identical to ratings given by students who spent an entire semester with the teacher. It turns out, we're much better at reading people than we think. Now, a quick historical detour. In ancient China, there was a profession known as physiognomists, people who could supposedly read your soul just by looking at your face. The emperor would even consult them before choosing generals. And while most of their conclusions were, let's say, creative, like if your eyebrows point upward, you're probably a liar, the idea that our faces hold deep secrets isn't entirely wrong. Fast forward to now, we have facial recognition AI that can predict things like stress level and even risk of certain diseases based on micro-expressions and skin temperature. So, the physiognomists were weird, but maybe they were onto something. Now let's explore the body's emotional broadcast system. Crossed arms don't always mean defensive. A yawn doesn't always mean bored. And anyone who's been on a first date knows that touching your face a lot doesn't necessarily mean lying. Sometimes it just means, I'm super nervous and my blood pressure is spiking. That's why context is everything. Say you're talking publicly and someone in the audience has their eyebrows furrowed and arms crossed. Many people would assume they're annoyed or uninterested. But what if they're just cold because the AC is blasting? Or maybe they're concentrating so hard they've literally forgotten to relax. Good emotional readers don't focus on one behavior. They pay attention to clusters. If someone's lips are tight, their shoulders are rigid, and they're leaning slightly back, they're probably uncomfortable. If someone's smiling, their eyes are crinkling, and they're leaning toward you, they're probably genuinely engaged. 1 cue is a hint. 3 cues are a sentence. And then there's tone. The human voice has what researchers call prosody, the musicality in how we speak. We don't just say words, we sing our emotions through pitch, tempo, volume, and rhythm. You can tell when someone's annoyed by the flatness in their voice. You can hear excitement in the upward lilt of a sentence. You know when someone's hurting by the way their words trail off. In one study, people listened to audio clips of someone saying, "I'm okay," in different tones. Their interpretations were 85% accurate, even without seeing facial expressions. Emotion leaves fingerprints in sound. But the most powerful emotional radar? It's this: how the other person's emotional state changes yours. If you're around someone and suddenly feel tense, or self-conscious, or peaceful, or warm, you're already reading their emotion. Your nervous system is wired to mirror the emotional states of the people near you. That's the power of mirror neurons, brain cells that activate both when you feel something and when someone else does. We don't just listen to emotions, we catch them. And that's why emotionally intelligent people don't just look for signs, they feel them. So how do you become better at this? First, slow down. Emotional clues are everywhere, but we rush past them. If you want to read emotions instantly, you need to be fully present. Focus on the person, not on your reply, not on your phone, not on your self-consciousness. Second, watch the eyes. They are the most honest part of the face. Are they wide and alert? Narrowed and suspicious? Dull and heavy? Or bright and animated? Third, listen for the words between the words. Fourth, notice your body's reaction. Often, your instincts understand the emotion before your brain does. If you suddenly feel tight in your stomach around someone, ask yourself why. Finally, don't assume. Be curious. Ask questions gently. Emotional reading is more like jazz than math. It's fluid, intuitive, and always changing. Most of all, remember that you can read emotions not just to understand others, but to make them feel seen. Because when someone senses that you truly get how they feel, without them needing to explain or pretend or hide, that's when the masks drop. That's when real connection starts. Reading emotions isn't a trick, it's a gift. It lets you move through the world with more empathy, more wisdom, and more truth. The more you listen to what goes unsaid, the more you'll realize that every face carries a story, and every emotion wants to be felt. So slow down, watch closely, feel deeply, and let the world reveal itself, one expression at a time. Thanks for watching MindShift.